Meanwhile, back at the Justice Hall.
Listen up, geeks from around the moon. All them other commentators know it's time.
Supergirl was
Everybody say the
Latina,
same
you heard
things.
it
All the
first.
theories mad lame. Never been together from the city that met bad bang. Everybody in the streets.
Knicks are the world champions.
Everybody on the streets. Comics, movie, TV. All the content on your screens. New Eureka Nightwing. Robert Reels, that's me. Jerry D.I.A.Z.
You know my ass crying.
Everybody on the team. Somos Latin games.
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
You want to talk about it?
Fuck yeah, I want to talk about it.
All right, let's get back to it.
Kara keeps calling me, she's like, thank you for supporting my movie. You're the only one who liked it. I was like, girl, I know. Oh my God. Oh, yo, I told you I saw Frankie the other day, right? Right?
Yes, you did.
Yes, it is. My girl crush, my IRL girl crush, fantastic Frankie. Shout out, friend of the show. Oh, while we're giving shout outs to friends of the show, we got to give out the shout out to the actual friend of the show. It's been confirmed. Brandon Davis and Phase Zero, friend of the show.
BD
is a YouTube channel. They're doing their thing. I did check this out before the show. It's pretty cool. I love your graphics. I love the stuff you guys are doing. I like the energy you guys have. Genuinely, I thought that was a fun video you made. I loved it. I really watched the whole thing. I thought that was great. Shout out to Latin.
BD. What up, my boy?
Jerry.
Yo.
Fuck what you heard. Supergirl was good. And oh my God. First and foremost, shout out to Casually Comics, because this came across the Batwave. Yes, that's right. The original Supergirl was Latino. Supergirl was Latina. You heard it here first. Technically, you heard it here second.
That's right. She was from Begonia.
Begonia, wherever that is, it's a fake country.
It's a fake Latin country, but she was really Latin.
Frisco. I think it might be next to Bane's country. Who knows?
Isn't that where Miss Kite is? I don't know.
The first Golden Age Supergirl was Latino.
So what was this girl's name? The Latina that played her.
Well, that wasn't a bad Supergirl, to be honest. I liked it.
No, it wasn't. It was fine. I'm just saying she was also like they was trying to make it all innovative by saying that she was a Latina when at the end of the day we just found out,
See, we're unsung heroes. Anyway,
well, Supergirl. You want to talk about it?
Fuck yeah, I want to talk about it. I don't care what you heard. That shit was a good ass movie. All right. If you didn't like Supergirl, chances are you're probably misogynistic. Whether you're like, oh no. There's something within you that does not support women characters, then you need to talk about it.
I feel so strongly, first of all, I'm gonna put on my glasses. I feel so strongly about it. I'm not gonna turn into Superman. I'm actually gonna turn into Lex.
Whoa, what? It was so crazy it turned him evil. It was you the whole time?
It was me the whole time. The whole time? Is there echo? No, I saw Supergirl and it made me lose my hair. It was so good. No, actually, no, it was
creme. That's what happened in the missing 11 minutes from the director's cut. It was just Jerry getting his hair shaved.
That's it. I was talking to this about somebody. Like, first of all, we have to remember that these are comic book characters originally created for entertainment of children, which. Okay, now we're all adults and we can all enjoy them, but at the same time, there has to be a certain spirit that these characters have to have. Absolutely. And a certain storyline, a certain, and even though some might find it I'm not gonna say redundant because it's not redundant because you find different ways of saying the same love story, right? That's not the point. But what I'm trying to say is, I think people are always looking to be blown away, to have their side instead of just enjoying what they actually have in front of them. And to be honest with you, bro, to have Supergirl be her own thing separate from what we saw in the Superman movie, that it's not they all have the same tone, like prior movies that have yeah, we have different directors, but we all gonna have the same tone. Even Marvel does it, they all have to have Feig, whatever. He has to. yeah, he has to kind of like oversee everything, you know, where yeah, this with Gunn is like the same way too, but I feel like he's giving a little bit more leeway as far as like just seeing like the Clay movie, you know, the Superman movie had his the way he did it, you know, Supergirl is her own thing, you know. Was it perfect? What movie's perfect?
Did it have more holes than a wedge of Swiss cheese? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But so has so many other movies. But first of all, if it was Superman in place of Supergirl, there would have been oh my god, the shit was so dope. Oh. Let's be real. Second of all, a lot of this vitriol has to do with the current climate. We can't.
Sure.
It's the elephant in the room.
The hate of the women. The
Not
hate of
saying
women.
that,
The hate of women. Yeah.
yeah, like any woman-led or minority-led movie is already going to have lower viewership on the box office. That's going to do better in streaming. It's been,
Yeah.
and you know, it's an unfortunate truth
Very true, though.
in this genre that it's a male-dominated interest, and they could have done a bajillion things to make it better targeted towards women. They could have put it out in March during Women's History Month. They put it out during a time when one, it was Pride weekend, so you know, and then two, it was going up against Toy Story and Minions. Like, you know, those, especially during the summertime when families are like stretched out for a budget, they're going to pick and choose what they're going to see. And the next movie that they're going to save up to see is definitely going to be Spider-Man. So
You go to everything.
yeah, so and then I mean, granted, was Supergirl the best choice to be the second movie out? Maybe not. Was it better than a lot of other superhero movies? Absolutely.
The action scenes were actually pretty awesome.
Right? Come on, Lobo. Come on.
And also because, you know, especially like, I'm glad they're not like bulking up. Because that's the whole point of like superheroes, right? They don't necessarily have to have muscles and
Yeah,
be
they
all
don't have to
bulked
look
up.
like a superhero.
They're like people that have powers, you know,
Especially
and
Kryptonians. They're not necessarily buff. They just whatever physiques they are. They're just amplified by the yellow sun.
correct. Like I'm not expecting them to be like, you know, whatever, but I mean, like Christopher Reeves, like that's buff enough. You know what I mean? Like that makes sense, you know? Where a dude like where a dude like Henry Cavill, like as dope as he was, and he looked dope in the suit and everything was dope. I'm not complaining of the way that he looked, but at the same token, it was like he already looked strong by just looking at him. He just looked like he's a truck, you know? Exactly. Bite your lips. But that being said, the fact that she's just like a regular girl, she's also not all.
Let me go check that the time on my watch.
I said too much. I went too far. No, but Millie Alcock, just her having maintaining a small frame, just being athletic and having these really cool action sequences with the really dope special effects, you know.
I think
Especially having her revolve around this other little girl, you know, uh, where the little girl is kind of like the audience experiencing Supergirl at the same time, you know, and it's dope.
could it have been better adapted from as a more one-to-one to the graphic novel? Absolutely. But you have to change certain things for captive audiences for the for the current times, and you know there's a lot of things that were missed, but they don't make sense in this world. A freaking shape-shifting megacorn that was human and turned into an animal, like you know, that comes to her beckoning call out of nowhere, does not make sense right out the gate. Come on, to have this be an exact one-to-one, you can't be, because the timeline doesn't match up. This IP comes out in the comics a lot further along in Superman's tenure, and
Right,
you know,
right.
and
This is further when he's much further along and being Superman.
yeah,
And
you know,
in this
after
universe,
having three reboots of three crises ago, you know, like
yeah. I think that being said, also I feel Well, I feel like they did well by bringing in Lobo. They gave it a nice little boost, because that was a glorified cameo. To be honest with you,
Yeah, but it was even more true to what the
but it
original
was more
was.
true to the thing, and also you have to sometimes you have to step up you have to vary away from the writing.
Yeah, and you have to draw in, what the major part of your audience, the male audience, and
Yeah.
because she already has several strikes against her, not necessarily for doing,
Right.
they have to actually make sure to put something that's going to be a draw, or put in a more named star to bring people in, and
Yeah.
that's fine. Lobo wasn't an issue at all either, and the changes that they made to her, spoiler towards the end versus the book.
Right.
I get it, because in this universe, she's gonna be the one that has to pull the trigger, because Kal-El ain't gonna do it. But, all right, step back, Cal. Let me handle this. Like, and it's proven in multi-mediums that she is more powerful.
And many times that when it's come down to it, when Kal-El is like, no, I can't do it. She's like, I got it.
And even other renditions of Supergirl, good, bad, somewhere in between, or the original '84 movie in comparison was trash, bro. Like, it's the nostalgia factor does not hold up. I was a painful watch, like when I tried to watch it last year, and it was less painful this year because I skipped the part that was so painful to watch. And I was like, you know what? I left off at this part. I'm gonna just start from this part.
I do remember watching it.
I started it from where she burst out the water. I skipped the whole Chicago City prologue.
I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember seeing it more than I needed to see it when I was younger.
Because
only because it's like, first of all, like I not only was I Supergirl fan, but also Helen Slater fan. Because she was, whatever, hot, whatever. And I was a kid. I had a crush on her, and she had just done Billie Jean or some shit, or it was around the time, whatever.
But she says I'm the one.
Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I just remember it was a Superman thing. Yeah, it was a Superman thing. I wanted to watch it, and I watched it, and I remember watching it way too many times.
We were young, and anything Superman, anything comic related.
But just remembering that it wasn't good, knowing it wasn't good back then as a kid.
Exactly. But hey,
like you were like fucking no, and remember we didn't have the internet, so it was like cable back then. Yeah,
we got what we got, and if it was on channel 11 or channel 9, we were gonna watch it regardless because there was nothing else to do. And if it was on, we were probably playing Superman, while we were running around the room with a fucking towel on our back.
Years ago, I was working in an office that shared a building where the great Faye Dunaway from said Supergirl movie, who played the villain, she lived in this building, right? And she was like, I don't know, at the time she was already, up there before she passed away. And I remember
fucking plot holes. The villain in the fucking '84 Supergirl is so ridiculous. We don't know who the fuck she is. She's just like some female, like
she just appears out of nowhere. Yeah. So, and well, this was probably gonna make it maybe even funnier what I'm about to say. So the guys that I'm working at in the office they all tell her, like, one of the guys that really knows her from a long time ago, because you remember I'm newer there. It's like, Jerry's an actor, this and that, blah, blah, when I was at the time. And she's like, really? Well, come help me with my bags and let's talk acting, And I was like, okay, whatever, cool, fucking Faye Dunaway, whatever, I'm fucking walking her bags, and she's like, where did you study? And I'm like, uh-oh, first strike. First strike. I didn't go none of them shits. I write my own stuff, and I just perform it, and then she was just like, oh, you must study. You must study Stella Adler, something, she just started rattling off names. And then I was like, well, I'll take advice from you. You're great. Like, oh, you're too young. You probably
great actor. I found a copy of Meisner Method or whatever when I was like 10 years old at a garage sale, and I read it, and I was like, hey.
Yeah. I mean, I read whatever and I was like, oh, that's what I do anyway. Like, that's what I was already doing in my. But anyway, I say all of that to say, she goes, oh, what have you seen? I'm a fan or whatever. And she's like, oh, you're probably too young to have seen anything. You're lying. I could have said Bonnie and Clyde. I could have said all the shit. The only thing that came to my fucking mind was Supergirl.
She's like, get out. Get out now.
And she's like, really? You must really be a fan. I was like, yeah. So that was just an interesting story. There you go. My connection to
You know, a story from New York. Speaking of New York, the fucking Knicks are the world
Knicks.
champions, motherfucker. Yeah.
You know my ass cried.
Hey, I did. You know what? You guys are welcome, okay? Because I realized that every time I watched the Knicks game, they would lose or losing. So I purposely didn't watch. Just so
Thank
guys
you.
could win.
I honestly,
and I tested it too because I watched what game 2 is the one that they lost.
yeah,
Right?
game
watched
three.
Game three. I watched that one and they freaking they lost. I was like, oh shit, you see, I'm a jinx. And then when I was watching the final game, the fucking Spurs were winning, and then I turned it off. I was like, you know what? Let me just test it.
From the bottom of my
I turned
heart,
back, they caught up, and they were winning. As soon as I turned it back, the fucking Spurs started winning, and I was like, ah. And then I turned it back. It was like that, 8 seconds left? I was like, wait a minute. Did they win? Did they win? And they were like down a pound. I was like, no. I turned it off real quick just so that they could win. All right? You're welcome, New York, okay? Wow.
Can I tell you?
Back, son.
Can I tell you, as a superstitious fan, thank you.
You watching Ross?
As a real superstitious, because the one game I didn't watch in my chair, in my spot, in my house, they lost. And I'm talking about the 3 games that they lost in the playoffs, because they only lost
for a reason, Jerry. You kind of shit your draw, so you need.
Listen. That's between me and my drawers and my chair. But
Yes, and your butt.
the 3 games that I missed, one because I had to work a double. You know how sometimes they spring the doubles on me at work. I had to miss it. I had to miss the game because of a double and whatever. Those 3 games, those are the only 3 games they lost in the whole playoffs.
See, it works, all right. Whatever we all did, we did for a reason.
So I had to find a body after every game.
There you go.
It's pretty easy.
You could tell that this movie was already gonna be shitstorm from the beginning because, especially all the commentators, they were mocking Millie Alcock's face by whatever thumbnails they were putting up, making her like the beast chick from whatever. It was like, yo, come on, bro, like.
Yeah, it wasn't very nice.
We're not fucking 12. Like, enough. Yeah, grown ass men, like, we live in this time where if you don't like something, it's like, oh my god, well, end yourself. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's like,
and you got grown ass men telling children to do that.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like,
the fuck is wrong with you?
It's ridiculous. And it's like, dude, come on, bro. Again, that was the comparison I was making. When you compare this version of Supergirl to the 1984 Supergirl, which had a horrible storyline.
Right.
Like somehow Jimmy Olsen wound up being in it, and somehow Lois
from the original
Lois
Superman,
Lane's sister, was first of all, somehow she comes to Earth already knowing that she's Clark Kent's whatever, and then randomly and it's like, yo, what? There's no possible way, and it's like, okay, whatever, suspend belief, plausible, whatever. No, it was just one thing after another. It's like, and then I can't even tell you what the hell the plot was. Like, why was she fighting? But like, this chick came, like, she got some hold of some computer virus or something. It was crazy. It was just like ridiculous. It was just a ridiculous, like. So then you get your next outing. We get one of the better iterations of Supergirl from Smallville, which was a pretty good one. It had her as older than him, so it's like.
And she was very much guidance, like.
Yeah, cool. She still does the Comic Con stuff. Then to have Melissa Benoist, who, whether you liked her or you didn't like her, which I personally did like her, and I did like the show. It had its ups and it had its downs.
Okay.
It's a different take on even from that version of her.
Yeah.
Less teeny bopper, less soap opera, CW, whatever. And then, you have this version of Supergirl from the Flash movie, which was, pretty decent as well because it's based on the Elseworlds.
Right.
And then now you have her in her own standalone movie, and regardless, it's still a beautiful looking movie. The concepts and the plot still that did take from the graphic novel. I see why they had to make changes because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in this current climate, especially in the world we live in right now. The patriarchy is at its full on, empire fucking strikes back mode.
Right.
It's not the time. Like, had this movie come out, 4 or 5 years ago, it would have done better, way better.
Much better. Yeah.
And
There was that whole girl power stuff, and
exactly.
yeah.
You can't even, women are losing their rights on a daily fucking basis, and you think that people are gonna pay attention to the box office when any women-led, especially superhero movies, not doing the numbers as we see. It's like, come on. I mean, yes, could this maybe have been a series? Sure, but it wasn't a bad movie. The things that it suffered from had less to do with the performance of Millie Alcock and more to do with what always happens when it comes to DC. You get the suits coming, getting involved, and then they want to, into this or take out this, and now you have all these vitriol. Oh well, there's a missing 11 minutes of footage. Right? What was it of Clem just eating everybody's lunch?
Right.
And it's like, dude, they made these things for a reason, and the biggest error I think they did was rushing it.
Okay.
Come to find out that they were filming it at the same time as Superman.
That's Superman, yes.
So
Which why they had that Superman scene and
exactly, and and then so that's why at times it's like the context may be lost, or because the biggest problem I've had with any medium of Superman or Supergirl is that the amount of power they would have together. Like every time Superman's always getting his ass kicked or whatever, where the fuck is Supergirl?
right, right,
Same thing in
right,
Supergirl. In Supergirl, the that was my biggest problem with the CW. Where the fuck is Superman?
right.
Oh my god, there's so much. Oh my god, the world's gonna end.
If it's in the same universe, where the fuck is Superman? Correct.
Right?
That's true.
That's the same problem I had with Clark and Lois. All that end of the world shit. Where the fuck is Supergirl?
Right, right.
Right? Like, do you going up against Doomsday? Where the fuck is she? You never get that they actually working together. They actually, are, and you again, like we said before, most of the mediums that have portrayed her, especially in the comics and the animated movies, she is more powerful than Superman. I think they definitely suffered by making her younger than him and not having known him, because you missed that maternal, connection that they would have had she known him on Krypton first. That was maybe one of the big things that they could have changed. That would have made a hell of a difference, especially to the diehards. Then,
There's also an interesting take, not to get off like to veer, but an interesting take with My Adventures with Superman.
bro, that's my next point, bro. Anyone that's talking shit about the movie and then praising and glazing My
Yeah,
Adventures with Superman, if you've seen the second freaking season, this chick is freaking singing with Lois Lane. I
yeah,
don't want to hear shit. This movie was good. Okay, they're literally singing together. I'm like, are you
yeah,
serious, bro? They already
yeah.
going musical episode? Like, come on.
They did have a whole fucking musical up. I forgot about that shit.
Even so, it's still a good season. It's still a great season.
Guys,
Her singing was so bad that it made Lex Luthor disappear. What a what a. We got to get Jerry back from the Phantom Zone. We got you out of the Phantom Zone,
Ooh,
bro.
thanks, man. That was crazy.
It was only like 30 seconds for us. How long was it for you?
30 years.
What? Is that why you lost your hair?
Yeah, sure.
My Adventures of Superman. I like the way they're doing this. The different Death of Superman.
Oh, it's a very fun retelling. I like it.
The whole twists that they've had, for the most part, I've liked.
For the
League of Low
singing
Saints.
stuff, yeah.
They killed that shit with the League of Low Saints. That was one of the best things ever did.
Yes.
I see why they also thought it was a good lead up, but that's also what they should have taken into account to co-market the rise of Supergirl and the My Adventures of Superman with the the TV show and everything. And it's like,
The way they're doing it on the show.
yeah, they could have done a whole bunch of different things. They could have did it. They could have did a promo with the Girl Scouts or something. Like, come on, like you don't target.
That requires a little bit of having some balls of putting it behind the girl superhero.
But that's also the thing because of the climate and because of this whole, merger with Paramount.
All right.
We know that we're gonna see a dip in content that is going to be women leading, queer leading, minority leading. Doesn't serve the bro culture. It's not going to, get the funding anymore. It's not going to get the green light for a second season or third or next movie. That's the reality we live in. It's unfortunate, but the time for nuance is dead. Like people don't give things a chance anymore. And no matter what James Gunn puts out, everything they're going to say is, oh my God, that's it. James Gunn is cooked. Oh, that's it. James Gunn is cooked. Oh, no matter what. Before even seeing it. And then, before, even if they go see it, they'll hate see it. It's just the culture the way the culture has shifted. Everything is hate, hate, hate. Unless it's knock out of the park good. And even the things, even the things that are slept on. Like the same reason, y'all blaming, Supergirl but it's the same reason that they didn't release Wonder Man for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
For it to be the best thing Marvel put out, and he's nominated for Emmy. Shout out Yaya.
That's actually pretty cool.
I'll drink to that.
Shout out to Yaya team.
Like, come on, y'all. Yeah, see, that's why I don't want to hear this whole tired old story, bro. It's like, oh, they don't, they're not gonna show up. No, we show up for our own, and good content is good content. Could this have a better script? Yes. Do I think maybe Anna Noguera? She's had too many chances now. She shouldn't be leading anything at this point. She could maybe help with rewrites. She can help with the stories and the screenplays, but like the Flash, now this, and like not give her to give her even a possibility of doing a Wonder Woman. Nah, it's not right. I mean, it sucks, but because we only, but that's the reality of any minority or female-led project. You only get about so many before they're like, no, you see, that's it. That's why we don't fund you. That's why we don't give you chances. But that's not even the real story. Right? The studio gets involved, or the timing was off. Like you have all this stuff that was probably just fast track. Let's get it out. Let's get it done. And then yes, you could tell where it suffered, and maybe it does.
Right.
Mean changing the guard and training up who's writing these things, and getting more people that are, because especially when you have fan films that are way more interesting or way more like polished, that sometimes, especially
now with the technology that people have at home,
yeah,
they're making movies that are,
bro, even these like low res fucking TikToks and Instagram reels. Sometimes
some of the ideas are so good, like you don't even care about the story. You're like, holy shit!
It's the content. It's like for true diehards, with the characters, and then it fucking sucks for projects that have a potential to be amazing, like whatever Lanterns is going to turn out to be, whatever rumors of the Mr. Terrific series, or that has so much potential to be so many different things. It could be the Terrific based on the Terrifics series, which is kind of like him creating like his own Fantastic Four kind of team. It could be like a gateway into the Outsiders, which could introduce like Batman. It could be so many different things. It does not matter that Gunn is choosing these obscure characters. DC as a whole is a universe that's full of so many different people, and yes, why not give a chance to their IP? because everything else has been done and done and done and tired and tired and tired. So yeah, let's give it a minute to breathe. Because I guarantee you they're gonna sneak Batman into Man of Tomorrow or something, or maybe Clayface, or maybe Lanterns, or maybe Terrifics or something. And if not, that's fine. But they already know who they're possibly casting, and even though I don't see that guy as
Britain,
yeah, whatever.
but I can see it like in a universe where that kid is Superman.
Yeah,
maybe that guy is Batman.
yeah,
yeah.
He was almost Superman, but we got Cornsway, which was direct decision. But regardless, but that's also a thing too. I don't think Batman and Superman are interchangeable.
No,
because you can play Superman doesn't mean you can play Batman, and vice versa. Just because that's how the Hollywood process is, like the guy. So, but it doesn't mean that. But that's ultimately why they don't that why they pass it. They get the other role. That's ultimately
only in
it does halt that Superman. Come on,
only in the animated series did they almost look alike,
right? There's other people that could be a better Batman than them, but that's partly the reason. Sometimes every other Batman selection has been trash talked, and then they wind up being good or bad, or but most
Bravo to Supergirl though. It was good.
Like it was a good movie, and I think once again it's gonna find a second wind on streaming once it gets there, because then families will actually see it as, oh, it's actually a really good movie. It's in a time when you just can't see everything. If your target market isn't kids, like for a superhero movie, it's and that doesn't mean that whatever adult oriented topics or content was in it, like you still gotta capture that demographic. That's because that's the point. You gotta have kids that want to be helped. Well, now, no, you know what? I'm gonna be Supergirl.
True.
I think that was the bulk of it. I mean, so no, not necessarily that if you didn't like Supergirl, you're misogynist. No, obviously we're joking, but
right. But make sure you like it for the wrong. You hate it for the wrong reason.
Yeah, make sure you don't like it for the right reasons. Make sure you're not hating on it just to hate on it or be one of those people.
Because you're a misogynist.
Yeah, like, and even if you were underwhelmed, that's fine. But you can still admit it was a good movie. Compared to the second movie or outing in the Marvel universe, it was.
I like that it was different. It was not what we got in the Superman movie.
Yeah, like at the time we're in, like, bro, nobody wants to see a strong woman kicking ass. It's unfortunate, but the same reason why they don't want to see a black man kicking a white man's ass, the same reason they don't want to see a Latino character that's not selling drugs.
Right.
Like, come on, we're still in all these archetypal roles and painted as, certain things. The whole point of having us, superheroes is to fight, to fight against evil. But when our actual world is showing that the evil guys won, the Lex Luthors won, what hope do we have in seeing our icons on screen?
Very well said. Very well said.
I mean, could that be better? Yes. Was it as bad as they're making it out to be? No.
No.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And watch, she's gonna handle business when it comes down to it. She's gonna be the one to, all right, get out of here, kid. But I don't know. And transmission.
This is how we rate problems in the MCU. These are Spider-Man problems. These are street level. These are for the little guy. The purse snatchers, cats and trees, the bodega robins, friendly neighborhood problems. These are big potatoes. These are Avengers level problems. These are multiversal incursions. These are all hands on deck. These ones are just for dinner.